the borderlines, as we've been doing the study in the calculations, and there's a thinking of despair. So I don't know if you can take them straight away, have their statements recorded, do something in the press, bring it to the notice. Take something very proactive, like we human rights activists do it. We immediately go to the press and take statements and do something. So if you can break that usual pattern and do something, particularly in the cases that you have. But when they come now, when they'll be here, then they'll go back by 5 o'clock, they take the train and go back, and I think it will be again something special for yourself.
Let me completely accept your point about the delays that have so far really played the two reasons for this. Firstly, earlier we used to take down all encounter cases, all cases of deaths in police action, whether encounter or deaths in police custody, and as full commission cases. And the full commission met once a week. And therefore we had an enormous backlog. At the end of 2009, because of this backlog, we decided to set up 2 division benches. So it's the pipe was to each in 2 division benches. Since then, we made, I think, huge progress. Now, every case, and there is a close list which tells over on a maximum of 3 months. So you will soon find, if we can keep this up next year, that as far as encounter killings is concerned, there is none of that unconscionable delay. Quite frankly, in the division bench, we have had to now deal with cases that date back to 2003. So it's been a decade with us. But that no longer happens. We are already in 2013 taking up cases of 2012 in the division bench. So that backlog continues, but I think through the modalities we put in place, we brought it down. Unfortunately, every time a member steps down, there is a delay in filling the post. The delay, if there's a backlog, starts up again. So whereas on the division bench on which I sit, both of us have been in place for the last 4.5 years. In the other division bench, one of the members retired in June last year, the replacement coming in almost a year later, and the other retired in January last year, the replacement coming in last month. And so therefore the other DB has not been able to meet for the best part of the year. My division bench, Justice Patel, with whom I sit, will retire at the end of next month, and we don't know when he will replace. I will stand down at the end of February, and again, if there is a delay in replacing me, there will again be a gap. So I'm trying to explain to you that some of these factors are beyond the NHRC's powers to resolve. The other problem is that on the encounter killings, both in Manipur as well as at the border with Bangladesh, those responsible are almost invariably members of the armed forces. Either the army in Manipur or the Assam Rifles, or in Bangladesh, the BSF. Both of them, as I explained in my presentation, are covered by Section 19. Therefore, our ability to do what we can do vis-a-vis the police. So there is a difference between the way we can take up a case involving the Manipur police commandos and the one involving the army. If it's a joint operation, we therefore, though it's the army that we have killed, if there is a police commando operation, we then operate. We invoke the fact that there was a police presence to exercise our full power. But in those cases, and those are the majority of the cases, which are primarily that of the armed forces, our ability to do much is limited. Which is why taking advantage of the fact that the Supreme Court has this writ, in our petition to the court, affidavit to the court, we have pointed out that Section 19 really has no place in the Act, and though removing it is, of course, not for the court to do, but as to the Parliament, the court can beat it down. If that happens, again, we'll be able to do more than the President can. As far as the PSF is concerned, I'm afraid they really are the most indisciplined and also the most intransigent of all the government agencies, much worse than the CIA. And therefore, not only do they believe that they are a quasi-army because they're deployed on the border, therefore they have a right to do what they want to. They also are the ones from whom it is the most difficult for us to obtain substantial reports. Again, unfortunately, because, as Mr. said, the police is hand in glove or sometimes subservient to the PSF at the border, what we get from the police is often a travesty. And therefore, it becomes very, very difficult. On at least one of the cases that we had today, and responding to your last order, all of these cases, we already have full testimonies before us. So it's not the lack of documentation that is holding us up. What is holding us up is trying to get the government, because we have to respond, we have to work through the Ministry of Home Affairs under Section 19 of the Act to get the government to accept that these terrible things are being done with impunity at the border, which so far the Ministry of Home Affairs is not to do. As I said, at least one of these cases we know that the documents before us establish that this was a murder. There are almost never any witnesses. So we have to analyze the post-mortem. We have to analyze sometimes the meteorological record. We have to see if things would have actually have happened the way the BSF claims that it did. And all of this is time-consuming. We put quite frankly on Section 19 of the Act, and we received a report which always denies it. Have shot the case. But we do it. But in order not to do it, we need more time. Where we need post-mortem analysis, we have to send it to forensic specialists. And these are all very, very busy surgeons and sciences who do it for us as a service. But that takes time. We have to do sometimes analyses, we have to get analyses done of firearms and stuff we sometimes think to have recovered, which again means asking the Central Forensic Science Laboratory to do a thorough analysis. Again, given the shortage of staff in these laboratories, that takes time. So some of these delays that you notice simply because we are trying to ensure that there is a thorough analysis done on the documents. I'm not giving these statistics, please don't statistics. These are explanations of how we work, which by definition is.
As I discussed that you have identified the problems that the junior superintendent of police officials believe that if we use the torture method, we will be able to get our case solved. And I see on your website also you created some online course. I am surprised to see whether these online courses are accessible to the lowest person who is handling these persons, the police stations, the accused, or where the torture is used. One. The second is, I have also seen that in 2012 only one course was done. So what is the NHRC for the training of police officials? So what NHRC has taken initiative with respect to the lowest police officer or the superintendent of police with respect to telling them that this is not what the appropriate method to crack the case. So especially my concern is how the online courses are accessible to a lowest police officer or a constable or a sub-inspector in that police station, whether in respect or any other part.
These courses have to be run, and this stage is because of the difficulty. Sometimes it is a straight reluctance, but often it is the difficulty of having police constables spared to do these courses. And that again, if you inspect any Thana, particularly in rural India, you will see that these policemen sometimes work hours that no human being should be expected to work. They are on continuous load, which again is part of the reason why they are on such short use. No SP is willing to part with his or her constables for any length of time, which is why we thought that rather than trying to have courses where they have to be physically removed from their police stations, we do it online. But even for those online courses, it is not always possible. But let me also say that this is not the only training that we have done. Because by definition, constables are not free agents. They're not doing this because they want to do it. They're doing it because that's what they're trained to do. So it is important, even more important, to change the mindset of their senior officers. And therefore, throughout the year, we interact with police officers at a variety of levels. In state police training academies, at the Central Police Training Academy in Hyderabad. So it's an ongoing process. But Ms. Narwala and I were at one of these last year, and I think she'll agree with me that it was like speaking to a blank wall, because there is absolutely no game. At the senior level, it's really like beating your head against the wall, trying to get them to understand, to accept their responsibilities. It is a thankless task, but we are trying to do what we can. I agree with you that much more needs to be done. That's what I said myself. The work what you're doing is simply not enough. But this is one of the highest areas of priority now.
Now request my very well calling. Yesterday we assured that we shall not detain you for a longer time, but still we can ask a couple of others.